It's the Dan Lanning revenge game, Georgia and Oregon in Atlanta at 3:30 on ABC. The former Georgia defensive coordinator takes the reins of a Ducks team that won 10 games last season. The Dogs, they won a few more than that on their way to the program's first national championship in over 4 decades. All of what I just said, pretty well known at this point, but let's dig a little bit deeper with Erik Skopil from Duck Territory and Rusty Mansell of Dogs 24/7. Rusty, we start with you. I joke that it's a revenge game. There's no animosity here, but what do you think is going through Dan Lanning's mind right now?
Emily, there's not one person in college football that knows more about the Georgia roster scheme and personnel than Dan Lanning. He went against Todd Monken's offense every single day for a couple years now. He has set in meetings, game plan with Kirby Smart. He knows exactly how Georgia is going to react to personnel settings, motions, what they're trying to do. And this is what I'll say about this. There's so many overlaps here. Tosh LaPoy and Glenn Schumann, defensive coordinator, co-defensive coordinator at Georgia, and the defensive coordinator at Oregon, they were at each other's weddings. So when I tell you these two staffs are familiar with each other, they're very familiar with each other.
Yeah, and it goes a little further than that. The last time Oregon played a football game in the Alamo Bowl, Brian McClendon was the interim head coach, and he's now Georgia's wide receivers coach. The overlap is pretty significant considering these are two programs that haven't played each other, I think, in about 45 years. SEC versus Pac-12, but Lanning has kind of downplayed it, said a little bit of, hey, they might know a little bit about me, I might know a little about them, but ultimately it comes in what the players can do on Saturday.
Well, it's hard to find many firsts for a guy who's entering his 6th season playing college football, but for Stetson Bennett, this was the first time he entered the year knowing that he's the guy. Rusty, how big of an advantage is that?
Absolutely. A guy that turns 25 in October. Oh, by the way, Stetson Bennett comes in a different mindset. This time last year, Emily, he was getting no reps in practice. Now he is the guy. He has all these weapons, a lot returning on offense. Stetson Bennett has to be ecstatic about getting his opportunity to play at a fast pace because Georgia is not going to suffocate people this year defensively, at least not early on. They're going to have to put up some points, and it's going to start with Stetson Bennett.
And for Oregon, it's a quarterback that Georgia's pretty familiar with. Bo Nix, a guy who played in the SEC, didn't always fare very well, 0-3 in his career down there against the Bulldogs. But new group of weapons for him. You talk about Georgia's skill guys, a lot of new guys there, a lot of new faces for Oregon too. I think they want to try to air it out a little bit, which for Oregon fans is exciting considering that the last couple of years the offense felt maybe a little bit stale. The sense with Kenny Dillingham, who worked with Nix at Auburn 3 years ago, is that they're going to be a little more aggressive pushing the ball down the field.
Erik, I thought we didn't know who the starting quarterback for Oregon was going to be. It's this big mystery, right? So as we talk about this familiarity, Rusty, how much does it help that they know a lot about Bo Nix as they head into this game?
Well, you look at this, another variable. Mike Bobo was the offensive coordinator at Auburn. He's now an off-the-field analyst at Georgia. Guess who coached Bo Nix? It was Mike Bobo. So when he's sat in the room every single day with Bo Nix, he knows his strengths, he knows what he struggles with. So you can imagine how much Mike Bobo has probably spent time with Will Muschamp, Glenn Schumann, and Kirby Smart on that side of the ball and goes, look, this is what he had problems with last year. This is when he struggled. This is when he can hurt you, those types of things. So, again, there's a lot of game within the game, familiarity with these two staffs.
And you did say it there, Emily. I guess we don't know who the quarterback is. No depth chart release. Every competition question has been kind of shut down pretty quickly. We asked who the starting kicker was going to be, if there was a leader, and he said, yes, there's a leader, and he wouldn't tell us who it was. So I think both these programs, I don't think Georgia released a depth chart either. I think both these programs are keeping it all pretty close to the vest right now.
Kirby Smart taught him well.
Certainly, yes, they both learned from the best. A lot of familiarity with these two teams. We're going to see probably a few hugs on the sideline before the game. Afterwards, not so much. Thank you so much, guys, and be sure to check out all of their work on Dogs 24/7 and Duck Territory.